Yes, everybody. And I took myself off a mute, which is quite successful, considering I haven't done this for 3 or 4 months. Welcome in, everyone. Shank Club NFL is back for another season. Few changes coming up. Trimming a few people off, getting a few new people in, doing what we do. You can hear the dog barking in the background because some fuckers outside. The swearing and the smoking and also the drinking isn't going to stop. Just thought I'd tell you that. But we are going to do some tomfoolery as we always do. So without further hesitation and without further ado, he's back. I've dragged him out the gutter. He made it.
Yay.
After a night out on the sauce last night. Carl, welcome along, my friend. How are you?
Oh, it's been a long time. Great to be back. Great to have NFL football back on our screens again. Just really excited for this season. Really excited.
Meaningful football, obviously. I mean, we had training camps and we had pre-season, which didn't really tell a lot to anyone, especially the Rams fans, but we'll get into that. That's going to be our first topic, Thursday night football. But yeah, good to have you along. Good to have you back. If this is your first time watching us, because we haven't been around for a while, if you want to stay in contact with us, you can follow us on Twitter at Shank Club NFL. Our email, if you want to come on at any time, email us at shankclubnfl@gmail.com. And if this is your first time here, please hit that like and subscribe button. We've been away. Surprisingly, we haven't lost any followers, which is bizarre. Either that or they forgot about us, Carl. I'm not sure which.
The latter.
Yeah, exactly. So let's get into it. Thursday night football.
The Bills they're scary. They are very, very scary. They pretty much. It's hard to pinpoint whether or not the Rams were just that bad or that unprepared, or were the Bills were just simply brilliant, simply ruthless. Josh Allen, I think, had 6 incompletions. I think it was like 25 or 31 he threw. That's around about an 89% completion of his passes. I haven't seen those sorts of stats in years. The fact that Buffalo they didn't even punt once, which would be really disappointing on Freddie Harper Davis's behalf, but because he's more of a punt specialist. But the Rams just look a little bit disjointed. The defense wasn't as good as I thought it might be. The O-line is questionable because Whitworth is now gone. He's now retired. He's won his ring. He's now retired into the sunset. We wish him well. Well, obviously, you're not, you're a 49ers fan, but I will because I'm neutral. But the O-line was bloody horrendous. And Matthew Stafford didn't look like the Matthew Stafford from last season. There's something about his throwing mechanic that looks very off. And I know he's still recovering from an elbow injury. And I just wonder whether, because he was throwing it up and then trying to throw it down again. I don't know if that was just restriction on his elbow, but he looked really, really uncomfortable during that game. But Jalen Ramsey is meant to be one of the best shutdown corners in the game. He got exposed massively in that game. But regarding the Bills, they were ruthless. They controlled time and possession. Despite the fact it was 10-10 going into the half, the Bills just turned on the gas and then it just suffocated them. Diggs got a touchdown. Gabe Davis got a touchdown as well. He's going to be vital as the second receiver. They ran the ball quite a few times, but it was mostly all Josh Allen being the dual threat QB that he is. There's a reason why the Bills are one of the, if not the favorites to win the Super Bowl this year, because from top to bottom, they look like a team that can't be stopped. Which is worrying from a Patriots standpoint, because I know we're going to get swept by these motherfuckers this season. So it could be bad. It could be worse. Could be the Jets.
I mean, from my point of view, all I can just say In fact, it's not. I'm not even going to say anything. I'm just going to go. Jalen Ramsey, I had you for breakfast with egg on because you were toasted, motherfucker. Toasted. They've lost 10 players through the off season, and I think, Andrew Whitworth is going to get a call to come out of retirement, but hopefully not before they play the 49ers and we sack him at least 10 times. Pathetic performance. Stafford, I saw on Twitter, I don't know what quarter it was, but apparently lip reading experts have said that he was saying he couldn't throw anymore because his elbow was knackered, which is hilarious. I love it. The Ramley, the one and done Rams. It's fantastic. I mean, I thought Seattle were going to be a shit show this year. I may have to change that prediction to the Rams because, to me,
I don't think so. I don't think so. They'll get it together at some point, but that was a wake up call, and I think that is the first time since 2014 where a home team has unveiled their Super Bowl banner and lost. And I know that because it was my Patriots who lifted up the banner, and Mr. Smugs in the green room nodding his fucking head off down there. They come in and beat the living shit out of us.
I know. Talking about early mistakes. Here he is. Scott, good morning.
I remember that game well, Carl.
It's funny how you always remember the games that are like that, and the games you don't want to remember just go into the distance. A bit like us in the Super Bowl, Bosa getting held. Also, I've got a new tag for this year. It's not at Shag Club NFL, Nick. It's at Jimmy G Smile. Just to, just for shits and giggles. Has to be done. Did you see Thursday Night Football, Scott?
Yeah, I watched most of it.
And how hilarious did you find that? Not as an AFC team, obviously, laying the wood, but just as a general shit on the Rams fest.
I thought it was great how they had The Rock come out and do the Rampede, which was just the fucking lamest shit ever. And then they got Rampeded all right. I mean, at home. That game was tied at halftime, and it was a turnover fest. Neither team looked really. I mean, the Bills came out and scored an early touchdown, but both teams kind of just looked a little flummoxed and kind of flopped around and kept giving the ball away. And then in the second half, the Bills kind of put it together. And the Rams defense, I don't know what happened to the Rams defense second half, but I guess they thought maybe there was a rule change where you only played 30 minutes or something now this season. So,
it didn't look like Aaron Donald played at all, to be fair. I mean, they kept showing the fact that he wasn't the force. He does that against the Niners. Jalen Ramsey got toasted, and that reminds me about saying how bad they were. I don't know if you remember the line in Die Hard when that stupid policeman comes along, not Powell, the other one, like his boss, and John McClane tells him to lay down and stop going on, and his reply is, "I'm not the one that just got butt fucked on national TV, Dwayne." And that is exactly the Rams in the second half. Toasted. Yeah. It was, and I am a neutral, but I hate all the NFC West teams, obviously. And I'm never going to pick the Rams. Well, I'm not going to ever pick them, as we know, but we'll get into PICKEMS later. It was a joy to watch. Arguing on the sidelines. Matthew Stafford shaking his head, I can't throw anymore. No run game, the defense getting torched. It was and as you said, The Rock coming out doing all that bullshit, unfurling the banner, but and there was still more Bills fans in that building. That's all I could hear. I couldn't hear the Rams, and it was just a joy to behold. Any opposing team that goes into SoFi knows they're going to take that stadium over, and the LA Rams fans let them, which is even sadder.
It's quite strange because I'll be very honest with you. LA fans are probably one of the most fickle fans you could probably around. They only care about the certain team when they're either winning or when they've won something. It's a bit like the Lakers, a bit like the LA Dodgers, a bit like Golden State. You know, unless you're winning or you're somewhere in the mix, they won't know you. LA couldn't give a shit about mediocrity. They just basically want, are you winning? Great, I'll support you. Are you not? No, I'll go do something different. I'll do watercolor painting or something. That's how it is. And I was quite surprised because Rams winning a Super Bowl, LA thought they were trying to embrace LA to come to their stadium. Seems to be the same issue. I mean, Chargers going to get absolutely... The Chargers Raiders games is going to happen tomorrow. It's going to be 85% Raiders fans.
Yeah, I mean that place is going to look like a probation office. All those Raiders fans in there is what that place is going to look like.
It's going to look like
the world's biggest probation office. They've tried to force the LA thing, and the NFL has forever. I mean, they moved the Raiders to LA back in the day, and that didn't work, and they moved them back to Oakland. The Rams were there and left. And then so what's the NFL's idea? Let's give them two teams. So now we have to fight over like fans to attend with who's going to be Chargers fans and who's going to be Rams fans. And then they went out and they thought.
Sorry, Scott, that manipulation of the NFL manipulating things. Thank you. We appreciate that comment. We've missed being on, definitely. They do the New York market is very tough as well, isn't it? And they're always trying to push that, but this obviously it's a different scenario. I get that. And that's probably the two toughest markets is the LA market that they still can't really crack. And as you say, they put two teams in a wonderful stadium. Let's be fair. I mean, it's going to be the most trophyless stadium in the history of sports. In fact, that and the Las Vegas stadium, now the Raiders are out there, which is madness. They try and force these things on people. And if people are in LA and they weren't a fan, or they were a fan before, they're going to be pissed because they moved out, I'm guessing. I mean, it'd be the same for KC in New England. If they up and rooted and went somewhere else, and then all of a sudden 15 years later they came back, people are still going to be pissed that they left the area, right? Yeah. I guess.
Yeah, I think the NFL was banking on the fact that LA is not too far from San Diego, that there would be Chargers fans. I mean, the Chargers fans didn't really care about the Chargers that much when they were in San Diego.
No, they didn't.
And when they left, that just pissed them off even more. So
it pissed them off because of Dean Spanos and his fucking and him being the spineless prick. Because
the other thing,
but with the Rams, they moved to St. Louis. They actually had a very good fan base out there. They had a very good fan base in St. Louis, and that city still has not recovered. The fans have not recovered from that. I mean, there are so many different destinations you could put either move teams or make new teams for. Two places in my mind, and you got San Antonio, because obviously with the XFL they had. Or no, not the XFL. When the AAF was around, they had the San Antonio Commanders. That stadium was pretty decent, and could have had a good following. The other one as well. I'm very surprised the NFL hasn't done this, but they haven't cracked into the market and actually tried to get, say, a team in Canada, like a team in Toronto. Can you imagine the fan base? Can you imagine the fan base? They have a CFL team already. Imagine an NFL team as well as they are diehard fans. They are over there in Canada.
I kind of get what you're saying, Carl, but like the NHL is a big Canadian sport, right? Yeah. So and the CFL obviously is the CFL. and people will flock to that. That's my only thing with if they put someone in Canada. Yeah, there would be a lot of fans that maybe attend it, but they've already, and it's a bit like doing a London team. Everyone in this country has got their own team. If you put in the Montreal Magnificence, but everyone likes their, CFL team, NHL team, soccer, whatever, it's a hard sell. And that's why, another reason why, and we've talked about this on the show before, where I think a London team, whilst it would be a novelty, and when your team comes to town, if they ever play your team, everyone else's fans would go. So it's a limited fan base. And I think that's the same maybe with Canada. I don't think if you relocated in America, that's slightly different if they think they can grow the market. Now, moving to LA, I think, was purely a money-based thing.
Definitely.
Everything is.
No, but we've got to, we must crack this market. We need more viewers. We need more subscribers. We need more money. We need. I know. Let's dump the Chargers, because the San Diego didn't want the Chargers, and I've been to San Diego, and I haven't been to the stadium, but it's a lovely place to go to. Why wouldn't a team, if the owners put the money in? I mean, they haven't had anything since or of note up until obviously the drafting who they've drafted and what have you. So it's probably Dan Fouts and the air raid and all that, whatever it was, back in the 80s, 90s maybe. And they don't invest in the stadium. The fans get pissed off because the team isn't winning, and why should they go and spend their hard-earned money when the stadium's falling down? The concessions are awful, the beverages are awful, the team is even worse. No one cares. And that's why these teams get moved. But I think San Diego, they were probably pissed off. But then again, if you'd have put them in a shiny new stadium in San Diego, it would have been half empty if the team isn't playing that well. You're never going to get that in Kansas. You're never going to get that in Boston. You get that in San Francisco, and God knows why. Probably because the resale prices are high. And I know that there's been an argument of where it's built and the fact that the sun is so hot when it's, high summer, what have you. Oh, look at that. Look, first show back. We've been on 20 minutes and Scott's already on his burner account. You forgot when they got rid of Drew Brees. That's very true.
That was a bad thing. The thing is, though, that the Chargers will not go back to San Diego unless Dean Spanos is travelled around in a wooden box. They won't go back there. They won't go back to San Diego unless Dean Spanos has either sold the team or he's actually up or he's down in hell somewhere. That's the only time they'll go back there. And even now they're stuck. Even now they're stuck in LA. I don't even know how hard it will be for them to come out of there.
Yeah.
They're probably. Sorry, Scott. Go ahead.
Oh, the thing with the Chargers was they had a following, but and the same thing with St. Louis. Just those cities wouldn't pay for half or three quarters or all of their stadium, and so the fans in those cities, they were like, build your own stadium. You're a multi-billion-dollar organization. Build your own place of business. We're not going to pay tax dollars to help you fund a new stadium. And so the owner said, okay, well, we'll go somewhere that will. Like that. And to me, that is just, the NFL got to where they are by being about the games and the contests and the competition on the field and the sport. And that's how they got as big as they are. To me now, they're making all their decisions about money. And it's like, you all are in business. You understand this concept. Like, take care of the customer and everything else, the money and the whatever will take care of itself. When you start making decisions about money and making that your main focus over the customer or your product, that's when you start seeing things like half-empty stadiums in Los Angeles. And and alienated fans who had a team that left and is pissed off at you and is because those teams, St. Louis and San Diego fans, they're not just pissed off at the team, they're pissed off at the NFL for moving their team because the NFL basically helped those owners pay to get out of town. So I don't know. It was a bad decision, obviously. I mean, when you got half empty stadiums and you've got a team that just won the freaking Super Bowl and half the stadium or 3/4 of the stadium is the other team's fans, that's just a bad look. Like, I think.
It is a bad look. No, it is a bad look. I don't see the Rams are still a very good team, and they will get asses on seats. The fact it's going to be the road team that's going to hit the road fans that's going to be filling those seats and not their own fan base is actually a little bit is damning, and it's a black eye on Roger Goodell's attempt to try and usher these teams into money making places, but it's all about passion and the camaraderie of the fans. You can throw money at a certain place to go in there all you want. If you don't have the fan base there, that place is not going to succeed. Regardless if you win a Super Bowl or whether you don't.
Well, the Rams Super Bowl parade, did you see how pathetic that thing was? I mean, they were showing clips and photos of it, and it was like people weren't even like shoulder to shoulder up against the barricade. I mean, there was people had tents set up, and there was gaps along the parade route on the sides where you could like just see through because there was hardly anybody there. So yeah, the NFL and LA thing is, I get it. It's the second or third. I'm not sure now if they're the second or third or fourth biggest market in the NFL. I think New York's still bigger than them. I think Dallas might have gotten pretty close. So they're top 5, if not top 3. But
Dallas are.
Yeah,
Dallas
so
are.
I mean, I get why they want it to happen, but sometimes no matter how bad you want something, it just doesn't make it going to happen. It doesn't make it's gonna.
No.
So I don't know. And if they wanted to move one team there, that would have been all right. I mean, I could see the Rams going there because they were there before, right? The Rams left LA and went to St. Louis. But the Chargers thing to me was just a terrible idea.
Well, the Chargers were in LA for a year, but then they moved out very, very quickly. They didn't get the fan base that they wanted over there.
Right.
So if they knew go back through history that plan didn't work first time around, why the hell did they think it would work a second time? And this time a permanent move. Not just like a 1-year lease and then you're back out to where you are again. It just doesn't make any sense.
What were your thoughts, Carl, having to play Buffalo twice a year watching that game Thursday?
Oh, we're gonna get our asses handed to us. we are going to get our asses handed to us.
You got the hoodie, man. The greatest coach of all time. They'll be all right, won't they?
He'll find a way to stop Josh Allen in some ways, but
you
not
beat
all
him
the
last
time.
year, didn't you?
Yeah, with 37-mile-an-hour winds.
Well, there you go. He was up in the stands with a fucking great fan blowing it across the stadium.
I was about to say, just get some of those big Win fans up there.
Mac Jones threw the ball 3 times in that entire game. That was just all different levels of flukiness.
This is my final thought from the Bills-Rams game, okay? Josh Allen threw an interception where the receiver dropped it, and it bounced up in the air, and it got intercepted. And right when it happened, I texted in a private text thread with my family and a friend of mine. I said, you watch the national media. All of last year, it was, what's wrong with Mahomes? Look how many more interceptions he's throwing, and is he broken, and is he coming back to earth, and has the league figured him out? When pretty boy Josh Allen does it, oh, that's not his fault. That Mike freaking Tirico, 2 seconds after I sent that text message saying, you watch, all these people will be making every excuse under the sun for Josh Allen for that interception. Literally, they came back from the commercial break, and Mike Tirico says, well, we need a new stat, the NHF interception, not his fault interception. And then all I saw on social media for the next 2 days was fucking people on there, oh, that wasn't even his fault. That's a bad, that's not on Josh Allen, and poor Joshy Washy, and boo-hoo for Josh, and that interception wasn't his fault. that should happen to Patrick Mahomes. 13 of his, he had 13 interceptions last year. I want to say at least 5 or 6 of them were the same thing where someone dropped it. And it was, what's wrong with Patrick? And is he done? And blah, blah, blah. It's so fucking stupid. Like,
but the thing is, that's going to be the narrative now for a lot of, and
right.
Trey Lance has had it,
changed the
and
freaking overtime rule for him. And now they're talking about saying, oh, it's called the not his fault interception. I mean, can people not line up fast enough to kiss Josh Allen in the Bills' ass nationally?
Well, they've done it to Patrick Mahomes, let's be fair.
Not last year.
And now, no, not last year because he sucked. But the first couple of years they did. And,
3,800 yards and 37 touchdown passes sucks. Huh?
They've moved on from the golden boy Mahomes, and I hope his brother. In fact, I joined TikTok about a month ago, and I haven't seen his soppy ass brother do
Why
one
would you do that?
fucking thing. Because I was
anyway,
bored.
Yeah, that's my final thought from the Thursday night game was just the absolute coddling of Josh Allen and the Bills, and everybody wants them so bad to be the best team in the AFC, but unfortunately for Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes still resides in the AFC and still resides in Kansas City. But looking forward, that should be a good game here at Arrowhead in 3 or 4 weeks, man. That Chiefs-Bills, that'd be a good one.
Sorry, Carl. I clicked it on, you clicked it off. Leave the buttons alone. Stop. This is why you're doing it again. Stop fucking about with the buttons. They're still building Josh Allen up. Narrative will change once he's won a Super Bowl.
If
I like if, but I do like the Bills this year. Carl knows what it's like to go through this.
Right.
I want to touch on Hard Knocks very quickly. Did either of you, or have either of you seen it this season? No?
Unfortunately not, no.
Right,
no.
Well, I watched it.
I know it was Detroit, and I did see a little bit from Aiden Hutchinson doing a dance of some kind on stage. I think it done the rounds. And
I've seen every series, and this one was the most enjoyable for me because you didn't get there wasn't so much of the shitty backstory where they follow this guy and this, that, and the other. And then next thing you see him walking out the building because he's cut. They focused on 2 or 3 people. I really like Dan Campbell. I think what you saw last year, it wasn't either one to bite their ankles off and all that shit going into the season last year. And, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. I watched it and I actually quite liked him. I liked the coaching staff there. And I actually thought it was a very good program. And I really want Detroit to do well. I don't think they will with Jared Goff as their QB, but then they shipped out David Blau. They got in the 49ers reject, Nate Studfeld, I believe.
Can I just stop you right there?
Of course.
You say Jared Goff isn't very good and all that, but he was still getting acclimated to the system that he was playing in. In his final, I've got it on my page down here. His final 6 games of last season, he completed 66% of his passes. He threw 11 touchdowns, no picks. And he's now got 2 stud tackles as well, and Penei Sewell, and I can't remember who the other guy is. But they've got 2 really strong tackles now. I think Goff is actually going to make a lot of people eat their words this season in some way. No?
As I said, okay. And we'll go back 2 years, right? I said to you, and I've said it now, Jared Goff isn't very good. What did I say to you about Cam Newton? Just rewind. What did I say about Cam Newton?
Well, you said he was washed.
Exactly. And I was right then, and I'll be right about Goff now. And that's the only thing that worries me about Detroit. They've got the 2nd overall pick. Sorry, the guy's name I can't think of. The
Aiden Hutchinson.
Aiden Hutchinson
from Michigan.
Looks a beast. They've got a good running game. They've got some good receivers, Amon Ra. And, look at what Goff had at LA and his and his coach and everything, and he got bombed out, and he was the first overall pick, wasn't he? Or was it third? I can't remember.
I think it was the first. I
Um,
think it was the first overall pick. Jared Goff did.
I really would love Detroit to do something, but I can't say they're going to because I just don't think they will. But I loved the series. I loved some of the characters they had on there, that when they were doing the live scrimmages, you had the offensive coordinator and the defensive coordinator nearly killing each other because they were getting so into it. And I just love the series. It's a shame neither of you've seen it. I mean, I'm not a Detroit fan, obviously, but I just, as a TV show, I thought it was the best one I'd seen, better than all the previous ones. And it actually took a kind of left or right turn from where it normally goes. And there was less of the cornball stuff and more of actual seeing players develop. Maybe they'll do an NFL team next year. Well, unfortunately, the Patriots are too busy deflating football. Oh no, sorry, that's the Buccaneers now that he's gone over there.
Now. You can't use that.
Too busy fucking about with footballs and letting them down. But
all I'll say is okay. All I'll say is this, okay. I want Detroit to do a lot better this season. They just need to be. They were competitive last year, but they were just on the receiving end on some bad losses. They've got a good chance this year to finish third in the NFC North.
I think that
because the Bears are an absolute fucking mess right now.
That's a low bar.
Yeah. But you know, for a team that, like, you know, I'd like to see him do well, especially after watching that program. And when the Niners are on late, if they're playing at 6, I will have a look in and see how the players are doing that were featured on the program that made the team. And it will be, yeah, I think it will be interesting to see what happens. Carl, before we get into the pick'ems, how was your pre-season? How do you feel? What do you think your record's going to be this year? Are you feeling confident? Are you going to be hiding behind the sofa? What are you going to be doing?
I'll be hiding on the sofa when fucking Matt Patricia's doing all the play calling. But it's been decent and it hasn't been decent for us. I mean, we're trying a brand new scheme on the offensive line, a Kyle Shanahan type of scheme, and we can't seem to get the gist of it. Mac Jones is not having the time to get the ball out quick enough because the offensive line is just not executing what they're being told to do. Losing JC Jackson was massive for us. We have got 2 corners in the draft, but it's very, very early days yet to know if they're going to do any better. That was Marcus Jones in the 3rd round and Jack Jones in the 4th. A lot of people have said that we lost a lot of people on defense. I will argue we have, but the people we lost on defense, i.e. the linebacker position, was Dante Hightower, Carl Van Noy, and Jamie Collins. The biggest problem for us last year was what we couldn't stop the Bills, was the linebacking core was slow as snails. They were just too slow. They couldn't get no pressure whatsoever. So they've now gone. We've added a few new pieces. We've got 2 linebackers who we drafted last year. They were injured, so they are ready to play this year. That's Raekwon McMillan and Cameron McGlone. Sam Roberts as well, who was in pre-season, put up a really good effort, and I think he'll be put into that position as well. And we also got Mac Wilson Sr., linebacker from the Browns, so we got the trade for him. So he looks like he did pretty decently. So I've got more faith in our pass rush and our linebackers this time round than what we had last year. The offense still worries me. If the O-line can't block properly, then our running game, which was our bread and butter last year, is going to go down the pan. And a lot of people are saying, once again, no talent at the receiver position. I keep hearing this every fucking year. We have never had talent at the receiver position, even when Brady was there.
Yeah, Randy Moss.
Yeah. Yeah, you had Randy Moss. Back in the day, yeah, you had Randy Moss, you had Gronkowski, you had Edelman, you had Wes Welker, and
you
Hernandez.
And probably not Hernandez. I'll probably say David Patton.
What was it? Now I can't think
Or
of his
Coates,
name.
Coates, sorry. Coates. He played tight end in our first run for the Super Bowl. But apart from that, we haven't really had anybody of a talent-wise that that's really done anything to warrant that. For me, I think last year we had probably the better talent of it because Kendrick Bourne came on from the 49ers and he actually done really, really well for us. We were disappointed with John O. Smith. Hunter Henry had a good run. And we also, it's going to be a difficult one this year. We've got some much more tougher tests on our hands. I say our floor is more like 8. Our floor is going to be 8 games. I think the maximum we could win if it falls in our way is probably 11 wins, maybe 12, but 12 might be pushing it. I'm going to say, as my optimistic side, I will probably say we'll go 10-7, sneak a wild card, and we'll probably get a tiebreaker either over the Ravens or the Steelers in order to take it. But am I confident this year? Not quite. Not quite.
That's a fair assessment. My homie said Matt Hernandez back in the day was a killer tight end, indeed. Literally. Driller killer. Scott, what about you? What are your thoughts on this year? Obviously, you've lost a few players, etc. Carrying on as normal? Lower expectation? Higher? What's your thoughts?
Well, just real quick, going back to Carl, Deion Branch was a good wide receiver for you guys for a number of years there in the early Tom Brady
Deion
years.
Branch, yes. There's another one of them, yeah.
But the overall point is, they always depend. They were a defense and not turn the ball over and play smart team. So, and it worked out good for them. So, but the Chiefs have looked good in the preseason. The starting offense with Patrick Mahomes scored a touchdown on every drive that they were on the field. And the starting first unit defense didn't give up a point in the preseason. So you can't get any better than that. Now, they didn't win all the games, and some of the backups didn't look as good and whatever. But as far as like the first team units on offense and defense, they looked ready to go. Lost Tyreek Hill, but looks like some guys have come in and stepped up. And there's a new guy, Justin Watson, who looks like he's got some chemistry with Patrick Mahomes. He came over from Tampa Bay. They've got the rookie Sky Moore, who's made some nice plays and looked and shown some flashes. On defense, they drafted in the first round George Karlaftis, a pass rusher, defensive end.
He looks a monster. He
got sacks in both games that he played in. Sacked Justin Fields, and I want to say he sacked Carson Wentz in the Commanders game. I don't think he played in the third preseason game, but so some of the young guys have flashed a little bit. I know the games don't matter, but you would rather go into the regular season without question marks and the offense not looking good. Or Patrick, I think, threw the ball in the 2 games he played in. He had 11 or 12 different people catch passes from him. The backup tight end that got hurt last year that was looking really good in the first few weeks, Jody Fortson, he's back. He's scored a couple touchdowns in the preseason. They look good. They look ready to go. They look ready to roll. So, when they got Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, you're going to win a lot of football games. Travis Kelce, obviously, doesn't need to be anything said about him. So, I'm out here in Arizona right now. I'm going to the Cardinals game Sunday. I think they're going to shellac the Cardinals personally. I don't know it. I keep kicking myself when the Chiefs were a 3-point favorite for not putting about $5,000 on that pick. Now it's up to their touchdown favorite. Cardinals have a bunch of injuries. So, but yeah, I'm picking the Chiefs on my Chiefs Kingdom Live podcast. I picked the Chiefs to go 13-4 this year, final record.
Cool.
Which is doable. I think that's
completely doable. Definitely. My Niners, and I know Carl is chomping at the bit to talk about a certain backup QB, but we'll save that till I've had my say, and then Carl needs to say something. I thought we did all right in pre-season. I thought we were pretty awful in the last game, but normally the third, well, if you're playing for the third is the dress rehearsal. If that's the dress rehearsal, the third game, then I would be quite worried. But I'm not. Our defense is legit, and I think we are going to be ranked, hot take, overall #1 defense this year in all categories. They are going to carry us like they carried other quarterbacks that can't be mentioned for a few minutes, but he's got a lovely smile. There you go. Feels great, baby. Feels great,
nice
baby.
Did you put that together, Carl?
Yeah, I put that together. Yeah.
That was good,
Well, it wouldn't be me, Scott. It wouldn't be me. Let's be fair. I can't even get a picture on straight, let alone put any graphics on it. Defense looks good. Jimmy Ward being out is a bit of an issue, I think, at the back end. Javarius Ward coming in, I think he's going to be a lockdown corner on one side. He is a good player. Debo came back. Trey's been looking good. Running game, we've set our, and I think we are going to be a run heavy team. I can't see us throwing it 30 or 40 times a game. I just can't, even attempting. I think that the highest amount will be something like 25 to 30. I just can't see us doing any more than that. The run game's good. Nick Bosa is going to kill motherfuckers this year. Kinlaw, Jackson, I just think we're going to just bring Ryan in very quickly. Ryan, how you doing?
Hey, gentlemen, what's going on?
All good. Just getting into what I think the Niners are going to do. I think, and I'm basing this purely on the fact that we've got, for want of a better thing, a rookie QB. Even though he's in his second year, he didn't play 2 games. My floor will be 8 wins. My ceiling will be 10 and a wild card. And if we get in there with a wild card and we hit the ground running in that wild card, then who knows what's going to happen. I don't want
to. Real quick, Nick, sorry to interrupt you. I think the NFC is wide open, man. With the Rams looking as bad as they did in that game Thursday, if they've fallen off and Matthew Stafford is down, Aaron Rodgers, it'll be interesting to see what Green Bay does without Devontae Adams. They got some question marks maybe. Like, who's the clear favorite in the NFC? I can't think of anybody.
The NFC is quite weak this year, if we're honest. Green Bay are screaming from the rooftops that they have a legitimate chance of representing
Dallas.
the NFC. Dallas say this every fucking year, though.
I know, but if everybody else is falling off, maybe they get lucky and sneak up in there.
I want to see Skip Bayless still suffer the whole fucking season.
I just when you said maybe they get a wild
fuck
card,
the Cowboys as ever. Fuck them.
When I heard you say maybe they get a wild card and see what happens. If you can get in the playoffs in the NFC, I think you got a chance. So
yeah, I mean, they could come out and win 13 games. It's a tough one to call because Trey could get injured. We've got what I would say is a half decent backup QB. Half decent. That's all I'm saying. Honestly, I can't rant.
He's
I want to, but I'm not going to.
Backup QB.
So, things aren't as bad as people would make out. This O-line is, I think, going to be the issue. And a lot of people say, if Trey holds the ball too long or he can't move around, that's when we're going to have problems. Where with Jimmy, 2 seconds, bang, it's gone. And I don't give a shit if it's 3 yards over the middle and Debo goes for 80 yards or whoever, whatever. That doesn't matter. I'm not interested in stats, and I just want to win. And if he has to come in because Trey gets injured or the game's not going or whatever, I'm happy with him with his little dump-off passes and going on the run game and hoping the defense steps up, because we may have to do that with Trey. Who knows? Yeah, he threw an 80-yard bomb to Danny Gray down the sideline, And yes, that was fantastic, but that was his only real highlight of
And it was
pre-season.
As I said, I think a backup quarterback could have made that throw any time. Yeah, when you're playing them against a third string safety, you should make that throw, regardless who the receiver is. That's actually got where he is flat out a speedster, like as you said, like Danny Gray was, or or he's just an average guy who hasn't got a lot of pace on him. That throw has to be made.
Excuse me. So that's my thoughts on the Niners. Ryan, floor is yours. What do you think?
About
17-0, baby.
about Trey Lance?
About the win-loss record for the Niners and what you think they're going to do and all that jazz.
Well, when we're going to go 24/7, I told them and I told Faithful Empire that I predicted 20-0, but oh well, we lost. We lost one, so it doesn't matter. But that's what I said. The wins and losses don't matter in preseason because they're just playing our backups and third stringers and all that. So I'll take it. But if we have a defense this year that can play real good and be hopefully the top third defense, I will say at least 17-0. I'm going for 17-0. I'm still sticking to my prediction, so that's how I feel about it. That's me. Sorry.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Undefeated, huh?
Real quick. Yeah.
I like your optimism, Ryan. I have to doff my hat.
I know, and I know we go against Chiefs. That's gonna be a good one.
Yeah, but we don't worry about them bums. Mahomes will take care of him.
Hey,
Mahomes will be toast.
Yeah, there you go. There.
Are you going to stay to pick some games, Ryan, or have you got to shoot off?
Yeah. Did you get a text back? Yes, so I'll go for predictions. That's fine.
Okay, let's pick some games very quickly. Everyone knows the rules.
Mm-hmm.
Mahomey, the GOAT, says 16-1. He's obviously talking about the Niners, not anything else. Right, sorry, I got confused then because I've just gone on the scene. Carl sent me a text message ages ago for a code, but then he also sent me an email and it confused me. Anyway, right, week 1. 49ers at the Bears. I'll let the two neutrals go first. Scott?
I'll pick 49ers.
Carl?
49ers. That O-line of the Bears is absolutely trash. Poor Justin. The Bears are going to reenact the killing fields.
We'll see. Well, it's a sweep, obviously, Niners. Saints, Falcons. Smug. Choose.
I don't even know who's the quarterback for the Falcons this year.
It's Mariota. Marcus Mariota.
No way. Are you serious?
Well, it's either that or Desmond Ridder. But I don't think Ridder's ready yet.
Marcus Mariota.
Say that 3 times very fast. Ridder isn't ready yet, and see what happens. Fucking Beetlejuice will jump out or something.
Man. Yeah, they got old Jameis is back there in New Orleans, it looks like. So, Taysom. Yeah, I'll pick Saints.
It's almost like the Battle of the Busts, but I'm going Saints. Carl?
Yeah, I'm taking the Saints in this as well. Jameis Winston, he's got better weapons to throw to this time round. Michael Thomas returns from injury. He's still got Alvin Kamara. He's got the speedster from Ohio State in Chris Olave. So I think the Saints are going to be right up there chasing the Bucks this time for the division. I've got the Saints winning this pretty conclusively.
It's really weird as well with the carousel that's gone on talking about the Falcons without Matty Ice. That's really weird to me, and I will not be watching Atlanta.
Good, because Matty Ice deserves better. He deserves so much.
I cannot watch them anymore because I stood in there for my guy, but now the Falcons are, they're shit. Ryan?
I got the Saints.
Clean sweep for the Saints. What's next? Oh, Browns Panthers. This is a bit spicy.
Ooh.
You've got the, and I still think, by the way, and we haven't mentioned it since it happened, that judge that only gave what's his face 4 games or 5 games or whatever it was. Someone had a bet on a game and got banned for the season. Someone who took PEDs got banned for the season. Yet Deshaun Watson allegedly did what he did and got 4. Fucking pathetic. Your American justice. He did after the NFL stepped in, but he didn't get 11 to start with. And why a judge was interfering with that, and the NFL just didn't say, "Step aside, please. This is a NFL thing." Justice was served.
The players' union in the league have to go back and forth on that. But anyway.
Ridiculous. But anyway, Browns are going to suck. I'm really going to enjoy their ex-QB. Just one. All he wins is one game this year to absolutely kick the Browns' ass by a landslide. I'm going to go 21-point win for the Panthers. And I don't care, because I reckon Baker Mayfield, right, they're going to show him leaving Cleveland Stadium and handing the keys over in one of them shitty commercials and then being lauded the next week in Carolina. So I'm going heavy Carolina win, and I think it will be hilarious. Carl?
Yeah, I've got Panthers winning this. This is Baker Mayfield's revenge game. But the Browns do know Baker Mayfield very well, especially Myles Garrett. So it's going to be a case of, is that newly built, reinforced offensive line of the Panthers going to hold up? Because they got a left tackle in the draft, O'Quenner, I think his name. Yeah, O'Quenner, I think his name is.
It's easy for you to say.
I know. He got sent on his ass in preseason by Kyle Duggar. So I'm going to give the Panthers a win. I think Run CMC is going to once again thrown, toss the ball to him pretty much 65% of the game. If you really want an X factor in this, look out for wide receiver Terrence Marshall. He might just end up being the playmaker that might just get the Panthers a win here.
Good to see Lawrence in the building. Lawrence, I thought it might be a bit too early for you this morning, so I didn't send you out the invite. If you want to hop on quick while we're doing this and catch up, let me know in the comments. I'll fire you the email. Good to see you, though. Scott.
Did you see the what Baker Mayfield said about this game?
I haven't.
They're asking him about playing his former team, and he says, "We're going to fuck them up." That was the direct quote.
Love it. Love it.
He said, "I'm going to fuck them up."
But that's what you want to hear, right? And again, yes, it's all, rah-rah for the cameras. But, yeah, why couldn't they go and fuck them up? Why couldn't they?
Yeah, I mean,
if I've got one complaint with the Panthers, it's the fact their coach and their offensive coordinator are not very good. Matt Rule is on the hot seat right now, and their offensive coordinator is Ben McAdoo. I mean, that's not good at all. I mean, right. The guy's a poorly trimmed mustache away and a pair of sweatpants away from looking like a sex predator. Right. The guy is just terrible.
Yeah, Panthers got some decent players. Like you mentioned, Christian McCaffrey. Obviously, they got DJ Moore. You talk about Terrace Marshall. I've got him stashed on a dynasty league. I picked him. I was kind of disappointed. I thought he'd be better last year than he was, but maybe he steps up. They've got some playmakers. Baker Mayfield. I mean, he took the Browns to the playoffs. I mean, how fucking hard is that to do? So, yeah, I'll pick Panthers in that game.
Okay, Carl, you went Panthers, didn't you? I believe.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ryan.
Panthers.
There you go. We're having a clean sweep. It's going to have to change shortly because we do need some. We do need a lone wolf. We do need a lone wolf. Right, Steelers, Bengals. I think this is quite conclusive. I would be very surprised if anyone is picking the Steelers, but who knows? I'm going the Bungles. Carl?
I've got to be very careful with this because, Scott, I believe the spread for last year for the Steelers to beat the Bills, they were 6.5-point underdogs, and they somehow won. They are exactly the same at the Bengals this time round. I will go Cincinnati. They'll just about get it done. But I think the Steelers are going to be more of a problem than a lot of people realize. But their offensive line is like Swiss cheese. So,
Right, the Bungles are -6.5. I'm just looking at the odds now.
Yeah, Jesus.
Who would have ever thought we'd see a day where the Steelers were touchdown underdogs to the Bengals?
Well,
Funny
not
how
since the 80s, anyway.
Right.
It's funny what a draft can do to change things and player retirements, etc., and players leaving.
Yeah, and then when you have the original Deshaun Watson there retiring from Pittsburgh, yeah,
the original Deshaun Watson.
I don't. Who's going to play?
Excuse me, sorry.
Who's going to play quarterback for the Steelers? Is it Pickett? Is he going to be the starter, or
No, it's Trubisky. It's going to be Mitchell Trubisky.
It's shit the bed Trubisky.
That's all I needed to hear. I'll Bengals by there should be 16.5 points with Mitchell Trubisky at quarterback. That 26.5 maybe. I don't know if Bengals.
I mean, everyone said it last year with the way how bad Pittsburgh were that, he still hasn't had a losing season this year. Forget about it. They are having a losing season. I'm sorry. They are. The end. Bye-bye, Steel Curtain. Bye-bye, the rapist. Bye-bye, Juju Smith-Schuster. Goodbye, Pittsburgh. Oh, and also goodbye to the Heinz 57 Variety Stadium. Fuck knows what it's called now, but it isn't Heinz Field anymore. It's some other old shit, I expect. But yeah, everyone, even their major sponsor for 50, I don't know how many years, Heinz has looked at that and gone, fuck this shit. Let's get the fuck out.
Summer's Eve douche field.
Ryan.
Hey, Nick, where are you getting your favorites from for this game? I just want to know. What is that? PFF?
Are you on Betfair?
Betfair UK.
Yeah, PFF UK. Well, ESPN, they got Bengals 7-point favorites.
So round about the same.
Yeah. I got the Bengals anyway. I got the Bengals.
I wouldn't take the spread on that. I would not take the spread on that. I would not.
Right. Eagles, Lions. Now, all I've heard about in the off-season is how good the Eagles are going to be because they've beefed up their line and this, that, and the other. I don't know if anyone saw. Well, I know Ryan will have seen the pre-season 49ers games, and we'll get on to that before. Eagles, I still think, I don't know, I just can't. I don't know if I can buy into the hype. I still don't think.
Can I just make a point here? The Eagles remind me a little bit of the Bengals from last year. They're very, very stacked on their weapons and their defense was very underrated. But you just had absolute next to no faith in the coach. And I think that's what we're looking at with the Eagles now. They've got a good quarterback. They've got a fantastic running game. They've got AJ Brown now as a receiver now, a legitimate receiver. They've still got Dallas Goedert. Their defense is going to be very underrated this year. But it's the coach. Nick Sirianni does concern me in the same way that Zach Taylor concerned me for the Bengals last year.
Like a lot of teams, there are a couple of injuries away from disaster, and I think Eagles could be one of them. And I honestly think we will see, and I don't like predicting injuries, but week one is notorious for getting injuries because as hard as training camp is and the preseason games are half speed, they're not full go. And they, a lot of, and I just hope the injury bug doesn't bite anyone for, significant players. But as I said earlier, I'm going with the Lions purely because I liked the team on Hard Knocks. I think they are going to shock a few people in a few games. Not all of them, in a few. And I think they are going to beat the Feagles. Carl.
Lions are +4 underdogs. I think this is going to be one of the games on the 1 p.m. slate, which is probably going to be one of the most exciting to watch.
Bless you, Nick. Bless you.
Thank you. Do
I go Eagles? Do I go Steelers? Fuck it. I'll go with the Lions. A little bit of home field advantage. And remember week 1 of last year, there were a lot of underdogs actually won in week 1.
Yeah,
so,
week one's the hardest week to pick outcomes.
It's ridiculous. So I will go against the grain. So I will take Detroit to beat Philadelphia.
I'm really disappointed. I thought I was going to have to lone wolf that one because we still haven't had a lone wolf. Well, we still got a few games to go. Mr. Smug out in AZ, who you going for?
Don't worry, you guys can all pick against the Chiefs and make me do lone wolf. So I know you want to. I like the Eagles, man. Like I last year they were if Jalen Hurts would have stopped throwing the ball to Tampa Bay, they would have beat the Buccaneers in that playoff game last year. They got AJ Brown, like Carl said, Devonta Smith, Dallas Goedert. They got some pretty. I like that Nick Sirianni. I thought there were some games they played the Chiefs tough last year. Yeah, I kind of like the Eagles, so I'll pick them.
Ryan?
Even if they were home, I'll be still going for the Lions. So go ahead, Scotty. Do your lone wolf.
You haven't picked yet, Nick, have you?
Yeah,
I picked Detroit. Detroit, the team of Hard Knocks.
Ooh.
So I get the first lone wolf. I'm not at home with my echo. Ow!
That's still not bad for an Airbnb ceiling. Trust me, that was a good one.
Well, I've got like a skylight here that's kind of helping work.
Oh, yeah. So you set up in the right place in case you had to do it. So you got the acoustics. Right. I like that shit.
Always come prepared.
The coyotes outside. The coyotes outside are going fucking mental right now.
Yeah, exactly. Fucking Dion's outside his window scratching, trying to get in.
Yeah, I didn't look up with Dion. I tried to find him. I guess I don't know why I wasn't following Dion on Twitter, but I tried to look him up and I couldn't find him. I don't know what his handle or anything is, so I might need you guys to send me that afterwards or something.
Colts Texans. Colts obviously got rid of Carson Wentz. And my boy Matty Ice is there now. Colts. I can give a shit about anything else, just the Colts. Carl?
Yeah, taking Indianapolis. As much as the Texans might have improved a little bit, they're still going to be rock bottom of the AFC South. So,
Mr. Smug.
I mean, if the Texans aren't like the definition of a poverty franchise, I don't know who is. That team just fucking sucks. Although they did beat the Chargers and new Patrick Mahomes last year to basically eliminate the Chargers from the playoffs. So, but no, I'm not. I'm Colts. Although I don't know, Matty Ice, dude. How old is that guy now, man? Like
doesn't matter.
I think he's late 30s.
I don't know. I'm not as excited about Matty Ice in Indianapolis as everybody else is, but they got Jonathan Taylor, so you don't really need a quarterback when you got that guy. But
the issue you have though, if you stop Jonathan Taylor, they don't have a lot of receiving weapons on the perimeter. They've got Pittman Jr.
If Paris Campbell can stay healthy, he's good. Paris Campbell's a hell of a player.
You got Paris Campbell. That's a big.
But he's got to stay healthy. So
Pascal. I think you had.
Yeah.
I think they had
Colts.
might be, but yeah.
Easy win for the Colts there.
Ryan, what do you think?
I got Matty Ice and Colts.
Okay. Now we know of maybe this next game. There is a possibility of a lone wolf. A possibility. Lefty with his fucking stupid throwing motion, who looks awful. Dolphins versus the Patriots. Now,
Is it in Miami?
no.
Yes.
Yes, it is in
Yes.
Miami, and
Yes.
everybody is anointing Miami as, some super fucking team for some fucking reason, because they've still got that juggly ass quarterback. So to me, that's a disadvantage. Let me just have a
But they
look.
got Tyreek Hill now, so everything's all well.
Yeah, except he has to stop. Yeah. He has to stop for 20 yards for that wibbly wobbly fucking pass to catch up with him.
No, you understand? Don't you understand, Nick? Tyreek Hill made Patrick Mahomes as good as he was. So Tua is just instantly going to be as good as Patrick Mahomes. You must have missed all those talking points.
I must have missed that, because obviously I've not watched anything. But you've got Miami Dolphins 3.5 point favorites. I am going to go with Miami because they every few years will have a good game against the hooded master genius. Every few years they do a win against the Patriots. Every few years, just one
at
game.
home.
And I think it's going to be that. I'm going to leave Carl till last because we all know he's picking. I just want to see if he's going to get a lone wolf. Scott.
I'm picking the Dolphins. I think they have more weapons than the Patriots have.
Ryan. Now, no pressure. It's all on you whether we get Carl's first lone wolf.
I got Dolphins.
Oh! I take it your wife's not at home then.
I was about to say.
She's home. She don't care what I go for, really. If it was anybody else, I'd probably go for Patriots.
She's at home, but in the other room and can't hear you. It's all right, man. We get it. Carl, now, obviously, are you going to pick against, or are you going to stay with your boys to avoid the lone wolf?
Dolphins win.
Oh, damn.
Scott, we don't do well down in Miami. And Nick, you said that the Dolphins have one good game every few times that they play against us. Since 2013, the Dolphins have beaten us 7 of the last 9 games since 2013. We are terrible down in Miami.
Right.
Even with Brady, we were terrible down in Miami. It's something, every time we go down there, we just can't get accustomed to the heat, which is why we've gone there on a fucking Tuesday. We've gone down to Miami on a Tuesday to get used to the weather. I think it's going to make a blind bit of difference. I really, really don't.
And that hurt me, Carl.
Yeah. So, look, I pinpoint on the Patriots Touchback podcast, which is the one up there. I said that it'll be a low-scoring game, but the Dolphins will beat us by a touchdown. I said 17-10 Dolphins.
Okay. Next game. Ravens, without a new deal in place for Lamar Jackson, versus the Jets. Jets. Now, I can only see one winner, and I love Robert Saleh. I love the players he's taken from the 49ers, blah, 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 but I cannot pick against the Ravens. I can't. I am going to say the Ravens win. Carl.
Ravens are averaging around about 35 points a game when they play in week 1. They come out of the gates flying. The Jets defense has improved, but this is going to be not a nice game to watch if you're a Jets fan. Yeah, Baltimore win this all day long.
Scott?
Yeah, Jets fans are going to feel like Patriots fans watching that Bills game last year. Sorry, Carl. I had to do it, man. You know who's playing quarterback for the Jets in the year 2022?
It's Joe Flacco.
Joe Flacco. How is an NFL team in the position where they have to play Joe Flacco in a meaningful game in the year 2022. That's mind-boggling to me.
Well, here's the question I'll throw you. What would you rather do? Get your ass kicked by the Ravens linebacking core, or bang your mother's best friend? Which one would
Or
you prefer?
banging a porn star. Or banging a porn star.
I mean, we've already had this discussion. You know.
Yes, we did, and we did, and your mother was listening to it. Yes, I remember it well.
My mom's listening right now. It don't matter to me.
Hello, Mum.
Yeah, no, Ravens are just going to mop the floor with the Jets, man. That's going to be a bloodbath.
Well, I didn't, I thought someone might want to pick the Jets, but I didn't want to just assume. Ryan.
I'm sorry. Give me again. What's the game again? I'm sorry.
It's the Ravens Jets.
Ravens.
Quite easy, another clean sweep. Right, and talking of shit bowls, we are talking now the bottom feeders in the NFL. The Jacksonville Jaguars versus the Washington Toilet Commanders.
Commies. The commies.
Right.
Do I buy the hype? I buy the hype about the Jaguars every year. I always do, because they're friends of England. They are my second team. They probably will always be my second team that I look out for. Commanders, all that shit still going on with Dan Schneider, blah, blah, blah. Ron Riviera getting involved with something in the off-season with someone that had made a comment and all that garbage. Jaguars. New coach as well, obviously, Doug Peterson. I think you're going to see a different Lawrence QB this year, different system. Both teams are still going to suck, but Jaguars. Carl?
Yeah, I'm taking the Jags. Offense is definitely going to make a big difference this time around. Although they overpay for Christian Kirk fucking ridiculously. I don't know how the hell he managed to get that sort of money. And I've got the Jags winning this. Get to see first overall pick Trayvon Walker play as well. So it'll be interesting to see how he gets on. Teaming up alongside Josh Allen, not the Josh Allen of the Bills, Josh Allen of the Jaguars. As for Washington, bounce it to him. Wentz is on his third team now. I don't.
And he's still gonna blow.
Yeah. Jags. I've got the Jags winning this. They are. Are they favorites? I saw they were 2.5. I don't know if they were the favorites.
Commanders are favored by 3.5 or three.
That's wrong.
I'm taking the points on that. Jags are winning that.
Yeah.
And they get that because they're the home team, which is ludicrous. Because the Commanders, yet again, apart from their star receiver, whose name escapes me, tell you it's been
Terry
too
McLaurin.
long. That's the one. They're not that good. That defense.
They haven't got their best edge rusher either, have they? He's out injured currently. Chase Young. That's it. He's out.
Chase Young. Montez Sweat, is he still there?
Yeah, Montez Sweat is still there.
Well, he was good in Old Spice commercials, but that's about it. But hey, Mr. Smug, who you got?
The Jaguars are that team. They should be favored. You put some money on that line. I don't know how I don't know how Washington is. Yeah. Travis Etienne comes back this year. I was excited to see what he could do last year. I think people were kind of forgotten about him because he got drafted. He was a rookie and then he got hurt. He was damn good in Clemson, man. That dude was a stud. So
I've got him in my I've got him in my main fantasy league. He has to do well for me, otherwise I'm fucked at the running back position.
No, I think you're gonna like that guy. I've been trying to pick him up wherever I can. So I like the
Jags. Fantasy football. Oh, sorry. Were you talking fantasy football? I almost fell asleep. Sorry. Fucking get out with fantasy football. Ryan.
It's fun, man.
If you're a 15-year-old in junior high, maybe. Sorry. Ryan.
We're going through the Jags and Commanders, correct?
Correct.
Jags.
Good enough. Giants versus the Titans. Now, Derek Henry doesn't normally come alive for at least 6 weeks. That's what normally happens, right?
Mm-hmm.
Danny Dimes, QB still, I'm guessing, for the Giants. They picked up one of the guys, funnily enough, from the Hard Knocks Detroit, and I can't remember what his name, little receiver. I want to say Pimple Popper, but it's not. It might be Pimpleton or something. Don't know. Anyway, that's a sidetrack. Titans. Carl?
Yeah, Tennessee. Despite the fact Ryan Tannehill is not going to lead this team anywhere. Yeah, I mean, this is going to be difficult. It's going to be interesting, though, because the Giants now have Brian Dable as their coach. I mean, he's not going to turn Daniel Jones into Josh Allen in the space of a season. That's not going to happen. I just want to see Saquon Barkley actually get through a season, not get fucking injured, because he's literally now he's now on his contract year, so he has to put up a good performance this season. Otherwise, the Giants may just lay him off. But no, I've got Tennessee, despite the fact they've lost AJ Brown as well. Yeah, this is a match I would not want to watch, if I'm honest. So, but I'll take Tennessee anyway.
I forgot this is in the late slot, isn't it?
It's a late slot game.
I thought we were still talking about 6 o'clock games because I was thinking, thank fuck, I don't have to watch this if the feed goes down on the Niners game. But shit, I might have to watch this one. No. No. Oh dear, that just sent shivers down my spine for the 9:25 game. Scott?
Titans.
Easy. Ryan?
Sorry about that. Yeah, Titans. I got Titans.
Okay. Now, there is a possibility of another lone wolf situation in the 9:25 games.
Mm-hmm.
But luckily for Mr. Smug down there, you're playing the Tards. So for me, and I don't do this very often, I'm going with the Chiefs. So it's up to Carr. Well, I know obviously Mr. Smug is going to go with his team. Is there going to be a lone wolf between either Carl or Ryan? Are either of you picking the Cardinals?
No, full house.
I got Chiefs. There you go, Scott.
Yeah, full house. The Arizona's O-line's in a mess right now. Their defense is a mess. Kyler Murray made himself look like a right prick trying to get more money, which he wasn't deserving for. And Cliff Kingsbury doesn't invigorate me in any way, shape, or form. He keeps collapsing on his own ass as he does every fucking season. Even when he was at Texas Tech, he kept doing that, blowing 6 of 8, 7. 6 of 8, 7 of 8, 6 of 7, 5 of the last 7. He keeps doing it every bloody season. It's just in his name. It's in his DNA.
The funny thing was about that Kyler Murray contract was they were going to make him watch tape, which is fucking hilarious. I wish that had stuck because that is just genius.
Yeah, I mean,
stop watching porn, stop playing Xbox, stop playing online games and actually learn about the fucking game, you little pipsqueak. Yeah. But it didn't stick.
Raiders should have done that with Jamarcus Russell back in the day. But yeah, no,
there's plenty of QBs you could say should have done that.
Yeah, the Cardinals, they don't have DeAndre Hopkins because he's suspended. Zach Ertz is hurt. I just saw that that would have been their number 1 receiver with Hopkins. He's now injured. I think they got a guy in the secondary that's hurt. The Cardinals.
By the third quarter, Scott, you'll be sitting there. The person in front of you will have fucked off. You can put your feet up, smoke a cigar.
I'm gonna have to try and get out of that stadium without getting in any fights. There's gonna be some upset Cardinals fans after that game. It's gonna be ugly.
dear. It's gonna. They need to get used to it. I think Kingsbury's gone at the end of the year if it's another failure, which I can't see. I can't. The Cardinals. We saw it last year. They collapsed like a cheap pack of cards, which was great to see because everyone thought that because they started off so well, they were going to do brilliantly. And then, good luck with that. The Las Vegas Raiders versus the Chargers. Chargers, fuck the Raiders. Ryan?
I got Chargers.
Scott? Now I wonder who you're going to pick. Yeah, it's got to be a clean sweep, can't it?
This is the
I
thing.
think
I
Carl
can't
likes
pick.
the Raiders.
I can't pick between these two because this is the toughest game on paper. They both have improved on offense and defensively.
If you stand up for a minute and just wiggle about, the splinters in your ass will shift one way or the other, and then you can pick.
Well, pick the Raiders, Carl.
No, I'm going with the Chargers.
Yo.
I will go with it. This game go to overtime again.
So we're still only on one lone wolf.
One lone wolf.
Packers, Vikings. The fuck was that? Carl's got some shitty sound effects going on, obviously. What was that?
That's the Viking horn, you muppet.
Yeah, I was
No,
about to say
it
that's the Vikings horn.
That was not a Viking horn. If it was, then it was
That
like
is.
a little Barbie Viking horn. That is not a Viking horn.
Yeah, that's the Vikings horn because I watched WWE and that's the Vikings horn.
Right.
That's their horn.
Talk amongst yourself for a minute. I'm going to find a proper Viking horn, not that fucking one.
For
Hang on.
God's sake.
That's a Viking horn with a sock stuffed in it or something. I don't know.
It's like when they, like when a jazz band and they've got all the geezers with the old trombones and they've got them cornet things on the end. Well, something's crawled in that horn and got stuck there. That was disgraceful. I can't be bothered, but that was disgraceful. Right. So, does that mean you're going for the Vikings, Carl?
I'm taking an upset. I'm taking the upset, and I'm taking the Vikings.
Right. Well, I think all three of us will agree it's the Packers. Lone Wolf. Carry on. Anyone picking the Vikings?
That Viking horn was about as bad. Listen,
I got the Vikings.
listen. That
I hate
Vikings,
the Packers.
That
Should know that by
Vikings
now.
horn, that horn was about as bad as Freddie's Lone Wolves.
Yeah. In fact, that could have been a sound clip of Freddie's Lone Wolf slowed really down to.
Where did you get audio of Freddie doing the Viking horn? That's what it sounded like to me.
He rang him up and said, "Can you do a Lone Wolf? Because we might need to use it on the show." Buccaneers, Cowboys. My mum said, "Don't grow up to be a cowboy." Fuck the Cowboys. Fuck them. Carl.
Yeah, I'm taking the Bucks.
Scott.
The Bucks and the Cowboys?
Yeah. Cowboys at home.
Who's the
Cowboys. Cowgirls.
Ah, man. That's tough. I'll pick.
You must like Lone Wolfing because you're going to be 2-0 in a minute because I know who Ryan's picking.
I'm going to go Cowboys. What the hell? Why not?
Warm the throat up, Ryan.
Go ahead, Scotty. Do your thing.
Now, final game. Save the worst till last. The worst team for the next 4 or 5 years in the NFC West, ladies and gentlemen. I give you the Seattle Sea Chickens versus, and this really pains me against the little pipsqueak, number 3, at the Broncos. Now,
I know. How are you going to pick, Nick?
I'm never picking the Seahawks. Fuck them. And I hate Russell Wilson. I'm not going to push.
Let's ride.
Oh, that was fucking pathetic.
Hey, Broncos country, let's ride.
Fuck it. I can't. Oh, I don't know. Do I pick the Cornwall? I can't pick Seattle. Fuck it. I'll lone wolf as a draw. I'm drawing it after. I'm going to say a draw. Oh! I can't pick any of them fuckers. I can't. Sorry. Carl?
Denver.
Mr. Smug?
Yeah, I don't see any ways Seattle wins that game, man. I just don't. Denver, I guess. Whatever.
Ryan?
Yeah, I know it's a tough one, so I know it is. But can't say any Seahawks. Oh my God, you're not like fussy. Oh my God.
It is a tough one. It is a tough one.
He just said Seahawks.
No, I said I can't say any Seahawks, and I don't like fussy wussy. So I'll get the edge to the Broncos because that's my second favorite team. So I'll go for Broncos.
Now,
Thank your brother to get help.
that's all the picks done. Now, I've saved the best topic till last because Carl and I had a little chat on the phone earlier. And Carl, put the little banner thing up again, the little poster you made, just so we can lead out with this in case anyone's. Well, I bet we lose all the viewers now when we put this up and we talk very quickly.
More than likely. More than likely.
There you go.
There we go.
NFL, we are back week 1, and so is he. Highest paid, best backup in the league. Scott, what are your thoughts on the 49ers bringing back Jimmy G and your thoughts on Trey Lance's QB? What do you think? What you've seen? What do you reckon?
I think Trey Lance is going to be okay, but to me that was just the absolute worst decision the 49ers could have made. I don't see any scenario that works out well for the 49ers with having Jimmy G. I mean, if Trey Lance gets hurt and Jimmy comes in and they win a bunch of games, then people are going to say, why did you spend all that capital on Trey Lance when Jimmy wins? If Trey Lance doesn't play well, especially early, you're going to have people wanting Jimmy G back in there. You're going to have guys in the locker room that are going to be the team Jimmy, and then you're going to have some of these guys that are team Lance. The media is going to be jumping every chance they can, jumping on and starting the quarterback controversy if Trey Lance struggles. If the 49ers are, let's say, after like 6 or 7 games, let's say they're somehow like 2-4 or 3-5, something like that, through 7 or 8 games. You know, you're going to be, this team was an NFC Championship game last night, and Jimmy took this team to a Super Bowl, and blah blah blah. You've even got Trey Lance came out and said he was disappointed. I can't remember if that's the exact word, but that was the sentiment that he had about Jimmy G coming back. You're going to have Jimmy G lurking in the background, looking over his shoulder the entire time. I just don't see. I mean, this would have been like the Chiefs keeping Alex Smith when they drafted Patrick Mahomes and started him in year 2. You can't do it, man. Like, and the other thing too is if Jimmy comes in and has to play for some reason and plays well and the team is winning, fans are going to be pissed. Fans are going to be like, why did we give up all these draft picks for Trey Lance? I don't see any situation where it works out well.
I'm not going to comment on this. I'm going to leave it till my very last words before we get out of here to give my comment on the situation. Carl, what's your thoughts on this? Because I know you did say you had some strong points, and I just need to go down and get another beer. So keep waffling. I will be back.
About 3 months ago, me and CT Ruthless were on here doing a show. We both did say something on the same sort of lines of it wouldn't be the worst case scenario if Jimmy G came back, but just to be the backer, holding the clipboard just to sit behind Trey Lance. The fact that, you know, with Jimmy now coming back, it does put pressure on Trey Lance. But at the end of the day, you also have to get on with your job. Because now, as much as I'd like to see Trey Lance play, it's now going to have something in the back of his mind saying, he's now right behind me now, sitting on that bench. I cannot afford to make a single mistake because that will start being a problem. What will get to the situation when, if you go through the season and you play, and say, for example, say you're like, I don't know, you're 7 weeks into the season, let's say you're 2-5. Let's say you're 2-5. What do you do then? Because it's not like, I'll give you a comparison, okay? You look at the Pittsburgh Steelers. They've got a rookie quarterback who's behind on their bench. They've got Mitchell Trubisky. They've got decent weapons. They've got a decent defense. Would I class them really as a win-now team, someone who can win the Super Bowl right here, right now? Probably not. Which is why if Trubisky does screw up, you can bring the QB in to, you know, get reps and get ready for next season. The 49ers, if you look from the top to the bottom, they have a Super Bowl caliber winning roster. Across the board, offense, defense, special teams, and coaching. They've got everything in place to win right now. This is going to be a question of how patient the organization is going to be. Are they going to continue to let Trey Lance play and maybe just write this season off completely, but then you waste a year of Trent Williams, of George Kittle, of Deebo Samuel, of Frank Warner? Are you going to waste a year with them? Or are you actually going to eventually pull the cord and bring Jimmy G in? Because you know he plays the system. You know how he runs it. He has got you to the promised land before. He has got you to an NFC championship before, or rather helped, not got helped. I can understand why fans are getting really agitated by bringing Jimmy G back, but it's also a common sense approach to it. You're the best backup. You're the best backup in the NFL by a country freaking mile. That's why they brought him back for. It is an insurance policy. It is a safety blanket. But Trey Lance fans don't want to hear that. They just want him gone out of their system. I'll be really honest with you right now. If Trey Lance goes down in, let's say hypothetically, okay, they've either traded Jimmy G or they've cut Jimmy G. Trey Lance goes down with a season-ending injury. Knock on wood, that doesn't happen. You've then got rookie Brock Purdy to lead the offense. I guarantee you do not make the playoffs with Brock Purdy.
Yeah, I don't think we would have made it with Sudfeld either.
They're Trey Lance or bust, though, man. Like,
is what it is. It is what it is.
In on Trey Lance with what you gave up to go pick him as high as they did. Like, I don't.
Only time will tell.
If he was not in the team that was not in a win-now situation, I could probably understand to keep him going for the season to get reps. But this team is too good to not miss the playoffs, and B, not miss another charge for the Super Bowl. This team is too good across the board.
They should have just kept Jimmy as a starter and waited another year or two to draft the future quarterback.
Well, the problem was, though, there was no... the quarterback class this year was fucking putrid. No offense to Kenny Pickett and Malik Willis, but there wasn't a lot out there.
More reason to wait another year.
It's a fickle business, as we all know. Ryan, what are your thoughts on the before we get out of here, before the Jimmy G backup and everything that's going on?
I think Carl, you did a very good job doing that, man. You really did. About the organization, everything, about the team, players, everything. All right. Me, I know you said everything I was probably going to say, but it's okay. I'll take that. But anything is definitely the money. We needed the money because we have a lot of contracts that are up next year, especially Bosa. We have to pay his extension. So I'm so glad. I'm hoping that he gets his extension that he wants. I've been waiting for it, and I know damn well he's going to get it. And I hope it's for at least maybe 5 or 6 years with like 6 or 7 year option. So I know he's probably going to be the highest defensive end or defensive lineman getting the highest in history. So I know my background's messing up on me. I know, I can see it. So yeah, me, it's all about the money mostly. So
I thought you was coming live from the Antarctic, and that you were in a snowstorm.
yeah, I don't know what was happening. It just started doing it on me. I don't know why though.
You need better lighting.
No, okay. Yeah, I got my light right here. I don't have my light turned on. That's the problem.
Let's say it's win now, like Carl said, and the team's 2-4, 2-5, or whatever. You're gonna have to make the moves sooner than that. You can't get to 2-5 and then really realistically expect to bring Jimmy in and go to the playoffs. But what do you do then? You play Jimmy for the rest of the year and bench Lance, and then next year go to Trey Lance. Like, okay, we're gonna try you again this year. Like, that's gonna ruin that guy, man. Which just wastes that pick and all the stuff you gave up for him. That's even a lose situation for the 49ers.
There's a lot more questions, I think, than answers moving forward. But we'll see. It's week 1. Football is back. Shank Club NFL. Sorry, go ahead.
But most of all your big stars have been paid. That's the problem. You've paid Trent Williams. You paid Frank. You've paid Frank Warner. Has Nick Bosa been paid yet?
Who's Frank Warner? I thought he was going to say Frank Butcher. It's Fred Warner, you know.
Warner, sorry.
He's Fred Warner's brother.
Sorry, I knew it was one of the two. Beg your pardon.
He's a water boy on the sideline. You don't see him, but he got a $10 raise.
You paid Fred Warner. You paid Kittle. You paid Deebo Samuel. Have you paid Nick Bosa yet?
Not yet. They're working on it. They're working on it.
So the people have just listed out, then they've got their money. They've got their money. Now they want to win the big one. Now they want to win the ring. They want to win the Lombardi. Sometimes an organization has to be cold-blooded and ruthless in order to do that.
Right. But you pick Trey Lance because you don't think Jimmy G can win you the Super Bowl.
But you bring Jimmy G back because you're shitting yourself that the backups aren't any good and Trey could get injured.
That's what I just said. That's what I said. Because if you traded Jimmy G, Lance goes injured, if he gets injured, knocks on wood, and Brock Purdy comes in, you don't go to the playoffs. Pure and fucking simple.
Nah, Brock Purdy looked like the first coming of Joe Montana to me in the preseason, the way he rolled out and everything, man. He looked really good. Right.
Like Teddy now.
He made some nice throws.
Please,
he made
kill
some
me.
Nice throws, and he threw some good touchdowns, but he also threw some back-breaking interceptions.
Yeah, he wasn't great,
he needs more development.
As Mr. Irrelevant, I think we may have found a little gem there as a backup in years to come, possibly if he carries on that path. Which, who knows? I mean,
you guys, real quick,
yeah. Go ahead, Scott.
I was going to change subject. I was just going to real quick. You doing Super Bowl picks or
49ers next? 49ers beat the Bills in a shocker. Oh, that killed the room, Carl.
I've got the Bills coming out the AFC. The NFC is so fucking hard. Packers.
Don't think so. Tony Romo Mark 7 at QB. Scott.
I'm going Chiefs Cowboys, baby. Super Bowl.
Oh,
sorry, Skip. Sorry, we don't have Skip Bayless on this channel, mate. That's it now.
That is the most
Cut him off.
Super Bowl matchup. That is the
Can
most
you imagine that
Super Bowl matchup ever?
But then I'd be rooting for the Chiefs to shut Skip Bayless up, which will be hilarious.
I'd be wishing for all that shit to be sucked through a black hole.
Or what's his name? Who's his partner? Oh, Shannon Sharp. Can you imagine Shannon Sharp if the Cowboys get dicked?
Oh.
That would be quite hilarious.
Shannon loves Mahomes, man. He's his biggest cheerleader, national guy.
I thought
Ryan?
you were his biggest cheerleaders.
No, national, well-known
Oh,
people.
I see. Right.
People that matter, Nick. People that matter, Shannon Sharp.
Ryan, what's your Super Bowl prediction?
What were you guys getting for your Super Bowl predictions? I'm sorry.
I've gone 49ers, Bills, and obviously the Niners winning it. Carl went for the Packers with the Bills. Is that right?
Correct.
Skip Bayless went for the Packers Cowboys with the Chiefs.
No,
Sorry, the
Cowboys.
Chiefs. Cowboys Chiefs.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess the Bills are going to make the third pick. I'm going for Bills and 49ers.
Just got it's one of them. It is an any given Sunday league. It's you get into a roll, and all of a sudden you hit it round about week 13, week 14, and you're in with a shout. You get into the wild card. You keep going. Anything is possible. Football is officially back. Thank Christ for that. Don't have to try and oh shit. That's why we've been away, fellas, because there's just been nothing to talk about. I said to Carl on the phone earlier. You know, a player gets a flat tire on the freeway. Oh shit, let's do a show because that's all we can talk about. There's been nothing, right? There's been nothing really to talk about. But it's great to be back. We will be back next week as usual. It's been fun as usual. And as I said, I will have the last word on the Jimmy G situation. I've got to prepare myself for this. Excuse me a second. Feels great, baby. We out of here.